What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Iron Man wave. So this is pretty cool. We get more Iron Man related characters on the retro card back. So first, starting up over here, we have Iron Man in the Model 1 armor, so the all gold armor. So we got the silver version of this not too long ago, so now we have it in gold. Then we get the Iron Man Model 9, which looks pretty nice. Just a nice classic, at least to me, looking Iron Man design. Really love that. Then we have the Iron Man Model 20 as well, which looks a little more modern, so that's cool. And behind those, we of course have some older figures to go with him. So first we have She-Hulk, so really cool to have that She-Hulk, nice, awesome, classic design for her. Super excited to have that figure. Then we get two Iron Man villains of Whiplash and Count Nefaria. Now both of these were in the old 90s Iron Man show that some of this design is more from, especially from that old Toy Biz wave. So getting Whiplash and Count Nefaria is really cool for those. And of course I'll go through all the stories and sort of explain who these people are. So very excited for this wave. So let me go and get these figures open and out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. Well, let's start off with the Iron Man Model 1 in the gold design, which is also the Mark III of Model 1. Now, Tony created the Mark I armor to escape captivity in Saigon as a suit of armor with heavy weaponry and a pacemaker device to protect him from the shrapnel in his chest. But upon returning to the US, he upgraded to the Mark II, making the suit lighter and changing the chest plate out to something that he could wear at all times to keep his heart beating. But he would end up changing it to Mark III by painting it gold because he was fearing the gray, scared, innocent people, and his girlfriend at the time said he should look like a knight in shining armor. So we have him here in the Model 1 armor. Of course, we've had this before. You see it with the gray design there in the back. Now with this armor, he has super strength, force fields, electricity discharge, scanners, jet boots, and repulsors, of course, and looks pretty cool. So like I said, especially compared to that silver one in the back, looks almost identical. The only thing is that he has more of this skirt piece now, but still has all the exact same body and complete reuse of that body pretty much, but looks nice in the gold design. So we can see Tony's face inside there, so you can see his eyes and everything, so that looks pretty nice with the eyes and mouth holes with all the rivets designs, of course, from his early model armor. So not the most high-tech thing here, but looks nice with the big, thicker, bulkier body. That looks cool. Has the little antenna off to the side, of course, like the reactor light piece there in the center. All sorts of little details and rivets running around through the body, down the arms, and like I said, he has this like skirt piece on the front here now, and then the leg designs continue on again with more rivet details all the way to the big clunky boots there on his feet. So overall looks pretty good, but of course we've pretty much had this design before, just in a different color. Now for Moons, the head will twist all the way around. Of course, hard to get with the chin piece, but it'll twist around, and then it can look down that far and then up that far. So a little bit of movement back and forth, not much at all because that head design. The shoulders come up to 90 and rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow. That, of course, is stiff, but it'll bend up that far, which isn't bad. Then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we can go to that crunch that's mostly just at his waist here, crunch back and forth, and can twist around. And then we can go down to the hips that'll come up. You got to force it to get up to 90 because that skirt piece gets in the way, but not bad. Out to the side, thigh twist all the way around. We get the double knee joint. That again, not the easiest piece, but can bend up that far, which isn't bad at all. Then down to the boots that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So really good movements for this. You know, you think with this bigger, beefier body design of this Iron Man armor, he'd get a lot less movements, but the only thing that's really inhibited is his neck, but still looks good and functions without it. And then we get a number of accessories that kind of typical for Iron Man. So first we get an unmasked head of Tony Stark. So we get this older head design that again probably came with that silver one as well. So let's put this on it. So there's what it looks like without the helmet. Still pretty nice. You know, of course the body looks bigger and bulkier, which it should. So that looks nice. That of course looks a little awkward there, but pretty nice for that. But I'll just always leave the helmet on. Then we get some repulsor hands as well. So we get the hands that are more open to shoot the repulsors off. But as you see, they don't have holes in them, so we won't be able to put the effects in it. So we can do the fist or the repulsor hands. So let's go ahead and just switch them. But as I said, with those hands, we can't put the effects in it, but we do get some effects. So that means the only place we can really put them is his boots. So we get two of the repulsor effects in the orange color that we can stick into the holes here in the center of his boots. So they can stick off like that. So obviously he can be flying through the air. And then we also get the smoke effects that go with it, which I always like these effects, especially for like this older armor, because, you know, I feel if it's going to be power and stuff, it's going to be putting off a lot of black smoke like this. So we can put this on as well. And there's those smoke effects on it now as well. So like I said, definitely how I would prefer and like to have this Iron Man, just because it's nice to have this big smoke effects coming off. So a lot of exhaust coming out of this machine to make it move. So that's pretty cool. But unfortunately with those, we then have to, put in a flying stand or something just to be able, because obviously you can't stand up like that. So we have to take it off, but it's still cool that it comes with that. And of course we can compare it to that older model. So here is the more silver design, or the Mark II, compared to the now Mark III with the gold design. So like I said, pretty much going to be the exact same figure, just added the skirting onto this piece, but everything else going to be complete reuse. And I do like how this has all like the scrape designs and stuff you can see on his chest and all that, compared to this newer, shinier model here. So very cool to now have the gold armor to go along with the silver armor. And next up, we have the Iron Man Model 9, which was created by Tony to fight fire power during the Armor Wars. Now, the suit was designed as a back to basics armor, and he wore it for many years in the comics. Now, the suit has super strength, durability, and speed, as well as force fields, repulsors, and many more weapons. So, looks pretty cool with this design. I really like this. Of course, this is the nice classic design with the yellow and red. The red also has this, which I don't know if it'll come through camera, but a nice like pearlescence to it, a nice like shininess and swirls going into it, which is really nice. And I love the clunkiness, like chunkiness of especially like the arms and the boots especially. I just love that design. It reminds me a lot of like Mega Man. And then of course the classic like comparative figures, especially like the two there, they have, of course a lot of these have them, but like the nice smooth designs, especially like on the legs as you see in the yellow. So that's like a nice all like spandex attached to them with the red armor on top, with the Iron Man face, which looks pretty classic. So it just looks like your standard Iron Man with the yellow face with the black eyes and mouth, with the red design coming around it, the like ear designs on the side, and the segmentation going down the neck to the body. Again, get like the reactor design there on his chest, some nice shoulder pads there as well, and like I said, the clunkiness of the arms and feet there just looks pretty nice. So this is a nice, awesome design. Love having this armor to add to the collection. Now for movements, the head will twist all the way around. It can look down that far and up that far, so pretty good for that. Obviously it has the hinge in there, so allows much better movements compared to that first model. Then we go to the shoulders, that will come up that far, at least pretty much to 90, and of course the shoulder armor gets out of the way there, and it can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow. That's again got stiffness to it, but we'll bend that far at least. And then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Of course, hard to hinge with the deepness of the joint there. Then we get the ab crunch. You can see that cut out, so crunch forward, crunch back. So not a whole lot of crunching, a little bit back and forth, but not bad. Twist all the way around at the waist. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. Thigh twist all the way around. Get the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, not too bad, not far from kicking his butt. We get a shin twist there down in the leg at the top of the boot, and then the foot will flex back and forth and twist a little side to side. So not bad movements, and has all pretty much standard Iron Man movements, so nothing out of the ordinary different with that. But accessory wise, we're going to get, like I said, pretty much standard stuff. So we get the hands with the repulsor holes in it. So this time we can put effects in them. And now these hands don't have the joint on it. So they're always like, they have to go with the fist hands, or this hand's always in the position like that, so they don't hinge back and forth. And of course, like I said, we do get the effects for him. So we get the blue effects we can stick in. So there he's got the repulsors now shooting out of his hands, which adding that blue and with this red and yellow looks really nice. So that's an awesome design. But we do get something new that is really cool, which we get like repulsor smoke effects or whatever. So we have this like he's just fired off the repulsors. Now some smoke is like exhausting out. So let's switch that. So there we have those smoke effects, which is really nice because, the repulsors stick out really far, so it'll take up more room on like a shelf and stuff, but there we can add those smoke effects and won't take up much more room, but still adds that extra detail. So like the blue in this instance looks really nice. So absolutely love having those effects. I hope we get more of those with Iron Man, because that's what I want to put on my figure. So that looks really nice. And to compare this, we have had this same armor in the old design. I don't know if it's the old Marvel Legends, I don't remember, but we do have this old Marvel figure that has of course the old ball joints and stuff, but it's supposed to be this same armor, so you can see some similarities with the designs, with the shoulders and all that, but it obviously more in the gold compared to the yellow, but still has, the thicker arm gauntlets and boots, just obviously smaller on this figure compared to this newer one. So absolutely love this new one because of the chunkiness of it, but that's just a comparison of the old figure of the same model compared to this newer one. At least they're supposed to be the same model, but they have some pretty good similarities. But really nice to have this Iron Man. This is definitely going to be my favorite Iron Man out of the wave. And for the last Iron Man of the wave, we have Iron Man Model 20, which was created after Ultron tried to use the Model 19's skin technology as a weapon of mass destruction. So obviously I don't have much more than that for this armor, but it has repulsors, force field, improved air supply, utility tools added to the left gauntlet. So overall looks pretty cool, much more modern design of course, but looks pretty nice overall. It looks more like the more MCU versions of Iron Man, you know, with the nice gold and red and darker red colors, with a lot more designs and little details added all throughout it, but still looks cool. Love like these back pieces. I don't know exactly what they're supposed to be unless that's part of that air supply or whatever it's supposed to be, but nice like back like little fins there as well, look cool. Of course we have the face of it with nice gold face, of course with a black mouth and white eyes with black around it. Looks pretty cool. Like I said, looks almost like the MCU versions. Little ear designs on the side and the segmented neck going down. Then we get the red armor of course on top of the gold. Nice big shoulder pads up here as well, a reactor on his chest, gab design going down to the waist where he has like the battery supply or whatever off to the side. Armor going down with the big chunky arms, again looks very similar to the MCU ones we've had before. Gold legs with the gold midsection arms, and on the side of the legs with the boots that come up pretty high there, so that's nice design all in the red there. So looks pretty nice, and it does look like it's got a metallicness to us, like some shinier silver going in there as well. So looks pretty nice overall, but it's a much more modern design. So as they start to get more modern, I don't like the armors as much, but it still looks really nice. Now for movements, the head will twist all the way around. Of course, gotta worry about those back pieces, but it can twist all the way around. Can look down that far and up that far, so really good range for that neck. We get the shoulders that come up, can only go up about that far because of the shoulder pads. Now, although like when it's down, it still like hinges back and forth a little, but it still gets in the way, so it only allows you to go that far. We do have a bicep twist and the double elbow. That stiff, once again, can bend that far with the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch that can crunch forward, crunch back, so not a lot of crunching, and then should be able to twist around. Doesn't twist too much. It's one of those, that fights with you, but it can twist a little side to side. Of course, can like hinge side to side there as well. But then we get a twist all the way around at the waist. The hips will come up out that far, so just about 45, maybe a little over, and out to the side, not far from doing the splits for him. We get the thigh twist that'll twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, and down to the foot that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side a little. So this armor definitely has much less movements compared to the other two, so a lot more things to inhibit it and get in the way. So not the best movements overall for this figure at all, but again, for us with like Hall of Armor in the background, it'll just be a nice armor just to stand in the back. But for accessories, we do get some extra hands, so we get a repulsor hand and a fist hand, so the opposite of what he's got on already. So let's switch the repulsor out. Now, of course, these repulsor hands do have the hinges, so you can lift them up, but then they have this big armor piece on the back, so it doesn't really do much, so it's hard to really get the hand in position to do that. And with those, we do get some repulsor effects, so we get these nice blue effects will stick in. So there's the repulsors in his hands, and then we do get another set as well that we can then stick into his feet. So there we have both sets in his feet and his hands now, so he can be flying. Maybe we can put it down so it's like it's flying through the air, maybe more for it. If we get his head to look up there, yeah, I can maybe be using him more like that, the repulsors, to help him fly instead of shooting and stuff, so it'd be like that. But again, it's hard to really do with like the feet designs and stuff because obviously it doesn't really work out the best. But like I said, for this, mostly it'll just be an armor that we can stand in the background. And next up, we have She-Hulk, who is Jennifer Walters. Now, she's the cousin of Bruce Banner and a lawyer. And when Bruce was visiting her, she was shot at by some mobsters. So Bruce defeated them, and then to save her life, he gave her a blood transfusion. But this caused the gamma radiation in his blood to activate to turn her skin green and make her grow in size to become She-Hulk. Now, she can easily switch between her human and Hulk form and maintains her intellect and personality. And then, of course, in Hulk form, she has superhuman strength, speed, durability, and the healing factor. So it's pretty cool to get her, especially in this nice classic design. Now this, of course, like always, the design I prefer for her, and looks pretty awesome with the nice bright green skin. So you can see it's kind of like glowing there with the dark hair that's black with the green wash over the top of it. So of course with the light green, dark green, reminds me of like the Jolly Green Giant, but looks pretty nice with their tall body. So especially if we bring in any other characters like at the end, you will see how tall she is, but she's also really like thin and stuff. So she has like, normal proportioned arms and stuff for like all the guys we normally get, but since she is a female, it is pretty small for a big figure this size, but looks pretty nice, of course, with her all green skin. Then she has her outfit on, so she's got this nice purple spandex outfit with like a white belt, white wraps around her wrist, and then purple boots as well with white at the top of them. So just looks really nice. Obviously really basic with design, everything's just pretty much painted onto her, but it just looks really nice and gives me the design of how I always picture She-Hulk, so really nice to have this look. Now, moon-wise, we do get that'll twist around. Of course, with her hair, it's going to be hard, but it can just twist a little side to side, and then she can look down that far, and of course, straight up because of her hair in the back. So not a whole lot of movement in the head, unfortunately, but the shoulders do come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that with that can bend all the way up on itself, so really nice. Wrist will twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch that'll crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. Then we get the hips that'll come up to 90, out to the side. She can do the splits. We get a thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, so not bad. And a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty nice design all around for her. Like I said, pretty simple basic body, not a whole lot to it. Almost just a basic female form with all the designs painted onto her. But with that, it gets out of the way, so no issues with costumes or anything. And with those double knees and elbows, she gets really good range all around. Now for accessories, she does come with some fist hands, so probably more what I would want for She-Hulk, so she can be fighting stuff, using fists like I always want with Bruce. But then she also comes with a gun, so this gun that she's smashing, so we can put it in her hand and have it like she's crunching it, which is cool. So let's put this in her hands. So there, I barely got it in her hands. I don't know how she's supposed to hold it exactly, but she can hold it and again look like she's trying to crunch it in half, so that is pretty nice. And of course, we have had older versions, so here is our older figure of She-Hulk that we've had, of course, in a pretty similar designs with the purple and white designs and the all green body. But of course, you can see that figure is much shorter, has a lot of thinner body, so this one is definitely much thicker and nicer. And then we have our more modern design that we get with the green skin, but then more modern, street clothes and stuff for her. So our different designs of She-Hulk, but this new one is by far my favorite. And moving over to our villains, first up we have Whiplash, whose real name is Marco Scarlatti. He served as a member of the Maggia crime family that has battled Iron Man on many occasions, but he was defeated by Iron Man and sent to prison, but was freed by Justin Hammer, who was creating a small army of costume criminals, and Hammer provided him funds to revamp his arsenal as the mercenary Blacklash, but was killed by Iron Man's Sentinel armor that refused Tony's commands, so technically he is dead in the comics. And as I mentioned, he did go by the name Blacklash, which was more of his name, but they probably changed it over time just to Whiplash, and he does use a whiplash, so it makes sense. But like I said, he originally was known as Blacklash, and looks pretty cool overall. For his powers, he doesn't really have much of any powers. He just wears this battle suit with a cloak that can stop bullets, and then he uses a whip that we'll see. So overall, looks pretty nice bright and colorful design. So he has this all black like spandex outfit design with the purple designs on it. So we have more of this light purple, almost like I guess a lilac, I guess you'd maybe say, with like this color piece around his neck, and of course the hood covering up his face so to hide his identity, with this nice green hair coming out of the back of it. So I don't know if that's his real hair or just a part of the costume. That same purple designs with the bag that he wears around, and probably hold all sorts of stuff on the gloves and boots as well. And I love the nice highlight collar piece, or whatever you call these sort of things. The glove pieces that come up there are for the gloves and the boots as well, so nice similar design. And then we get more of this other purple. It's got like a purplish pink cape here on the back, as I said, is actually bulletproof, so that's pretty nice that he's got that on there, held together by a gold clasp there in front of his neck. So pretty nice colorful design for this. Of course, a weird crazy villain, not used much in the comics, and of course, as I mentioned, he is dead, so definitely not used a whole lot, but he was in the Iron Man animated series that a lot of this is designed after. But for his movements, we'll get his head that will twist around. Of course, got to worry about his hair, but will twist all the way around. And speaking of his hair, it does, come off and can twist around stuff, so you can't get out of the way. So don't have to worry about that too much. So it does twist around. And then you can look down that far and up that far. So not bad movements, especially with that hinge disc in there. Then we can go to his shoulders. That maybe, I guess we'll do this one since it's more exposed. But still hard a little bit to get up because of the cape, but can come up to 90. Actually looks like a little bit over 90. Of course, should rotate around within there. But we get the bicep twist and the double elbow. That bends up that far, so pretty good, with the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. And then we go down to his ab crunch. Of course, gotta get the bag and everything out of the way. He'll crunch forward, crunch back's nice crunching, but of course has a lot of stuff in the way for it. Twist all the way around at the waist. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, so not too bad. Of course, the shin twist down in the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So good movements overall, pretty good range, but like I said, with the cloak and all that, it kind of gets all in the way, so it doesn't make the easiest figure to work with, so just be aware of that. But accessory wise, he does come with some additional hands, so we get some grip hands here, which we can at least switch one out to give him his weapon. And speaking of, he does come with the cybernetic whip, so we get this nice whip design. So nice gold handle with this cybernetic whip. Of course, all looks like energy on here with it all being in yellow, which looks pretty cool and has nice like little curve to it and everything. So obviously it's gonna have to always be posed weird, but let's put this into his hand. So there, I tried to get him posed up as best I could with the whip, but of course the whip just being in that design doesn't really look too good, no matter how you really pose it. There, I got Whiplash there with his whip looking all cool. So it's awesome to have him. And now that we have him, we can add him in with the other villains that we've seen, especially in the Iron Man animated series. So there we have our evil villains that are all working for Mandarin against Iron Man, with our grouping of Dread Knight, Blizzard, Grey Gargoyle, Whirlwind, Living Laser, and MODOK, and of course now Whiplash added into that. So very cool to have all these villains to go against Iron Man, especially like I said from the animated series. So really cool to add Whiplash to this group, because now we have everybody except for Hypnotica. So as soon as we get her, we'll have the complete team. So really nice to add Whiplash into this group. And our last figure of the wave is Count Nefaria. His real name is Lucino Nefaria, and he's the descendant of Italian noblemen that inherited a fortune, and he was fascinated with technological advances and hired scientists to create advanced inventions, becoming a powerful figure of the Maggia family by offering large sums of money, and he would frequently battle against the Avengers and the X-Men, and of course for this, Iron Man. Now power-wise, he was just a normal human until scientists granted him the powers of Living Laser, Power Man, and Whirlwind, and so through this he got immortality, superhuman strength, speed, and senses, as well as teleportation and energy manipulation. And overall he looks pretty cool. A nice basic design, I want to say. Of course we do have issues. I wish Hasbro would get better at this. Like the paint is just not very good on this, like especially when we get white. I was trying to figure out what figure it was recently, but it was Angel from the X-Men. I had issues of course with the shoulder, especially with like rubbing and stuff. This paint just keeps coming off, and then especially when it comes to white there's a lot of issues. So not like the best painting here on his chest. And when we get like down to his boots, the red does not look good. You can see we have some like rub issues or red paint coming off, and of course those matching here with the black just doesn't look too good. So there's a lot of issues paint wise with this figure, and then just stuff in general with this figure that really annoys me. I really like his look, but just the figure itself with everything doesn't work out too well. But he looks nice with his basic, spandex suit. So white up on his chest and shoulders, black in the midsection down the arms. He's got white underwear with a red belt with an N on it, of course, for Nefaria. Black leggings going down to the white boots, has red details at the top, similar gloves. So white gloves with red details on the cuffs there. And then he has this cape on his back. So he has this strap. I don't know if that's supposed to be for his cape or cloak, this like braided cord design in yellow, because, the yellow matches and goes along with that. I'm not sure if that's the design, but it doesn't attach to it, so it's hard to tell. With the yellow cloak, at least on the inside, and red on the outside with the high collar piece there, sort of blowing in the wind. So like I said, look wise, it looks nice. Just the execution of the figure could be better. But we'll do the movements, so his head will twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far, so good movements with that hinge. Of course, a lot of movements are allowed for that. Then we go to the shoulders. Of course, his cloak is being in the way, so we'll do this side, so it can come up to 90 with the butterfly joint back and forth. Of course, bicep twist around, and the double elbow joint, that'll bend up that far, so not bad. With the wrist, that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then to his ab crunch, he can crunch forward, crunch back, so nice crunching, twist all the way around at the waist. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around. We get the double knee joint. That as usual is pretty stiff on him, but can bend that far to the back, which isn't bad. And then we get the shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So overall, pretty decent movements. Now this does, I don't really, remember everything, every little detail, but this does remind me a lot more of that Vulcan body, so the newer body. But like I said, I have some issues with it. Of course, get like the gapping there at the shin twist on the left leg there. And then these biceps are just so shallow. Like if you try, like especially this, since his shoulders are stiff, as I'm trying to lift them up, it's putting pressure on there and can easily pop this off or even break the joint in there. So always have to worry about those. They need to like sink the pegs deeper into the bicep to make it a little bit deeper coming up around the shoulder joints, because they're just so shallow it could easily break. And then of course have issues because of this cord around him. It doesn't allow the peg in the back to fully go in, or at least it doesn't go any deeper or something, so it doesn't hang on the back, so the cape can easily fall right off. But like I said, he then just has this yellow cord wrapped around him there. And it almost looks design-wise, because there's like a little bit of a hump here. Like it'd work better if it was going the opposite way. But then I don't feel it looks good with the cloak design, because then it feels like it would be then going this way around it and not work as good. Where this at least seems like it's supposed to be attaching to there and wrapping around to help hold it on. So like I said, just have issues with this figure that don't make it the best. So it's definitely my least favorite figure of the wave. But still, I like the way he looks, and it's cool to get a Count Nefaria. But accessory wise, the only thing he comes with is some additional hands. So we get these more open hands. So if you don't want to have the fist, you can have those. And then we don't really have anything to compare him to, but we do have his daughter of Madame Mask. Of course, this is like our custom version that we've made, but there we have Madame Mask with her father of Count Nefaria there. So I think that is pretty cool and awesome to add Count Nefaria to the wave. Well, that's be it for our Marvel Legends Iron Man Retro Card Wave, where we got the Iron Man Model 1 in the gold design, Iron Man Model 9, Iron Man Model 20, along with She-Hulk, Whiplash, and Count Nefaria. So overall, pretty cool wave, I must say. The only figures I don't really care too much for are the Iron Man Model 20 and Count Nefaria, but love the other 4 figures, especially like this Iron Man is absolutely my favorite, probably my favorite Iron Man we've had so far. I just love the design, and the big boots is so cool. Love having this She-Hulk. She's like perfect to me. Couldn't want like pretty much any better She-Hulk than this. She's absolutely perfect. And then love the Iron Man and the gold design and Whiplash as well. So let me know what you thought of this wave down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.